Welcome, everyone. My name is Daniel Agnew. I'm a teddy bear and toy specialist. This is Hilary Pawley, who is a teddy bear collector. And
Hello.
today I'm showing her some of my collection, and she already thinks it's a bit weird, don't you? So,
I think you're a bit weird, not the collection.
okay. Well, it must come together. Anyway, so we've got here some sort of character dolls, would you
Yeah.
describe them as that? Which are part of my collection, and these are all British manufactured, and they're these are by Dean's Rag Book, and these are by Chad Valley. So the first two, which are a fairly recent purchase, I absolutely adore, and Hilary's not so fond of, are you? These are the Pirate Twins, and it was a famous book written by an artist called William Nicholson in the late 1920s, and it was about two sock toys.
Hence the hat.
And actually these look like they are and made of socks.
Yes, they really do.
So look, you can see
That's the toe.
that's the toe and that's the heel, and there's
There's the top.
it's a very fine pair of socks.
It certainly is.
But they are actually, these two are actually made by Dean's Rag Book. And, you know, if you didn't know that they were made by Dean's Rag Book, which I didn't know when I bought them, you would think they were just made out of old socks. But they've actually got their maker's label on here. Not their maker's label, their name, the Pirate Twins on there. But on their feet, somewhere, there we are,
Oh, it's got the
very
stamp.
faintly, you can see the Dean's ink stamp, which you get. So, two very simple toys. Now, they seem to have cotton wrapped around them, which I think they would have hung from originally.
Yes.
So they would have hung from the cot on the side of the child's bed or what have you, hung up and danced up and down. So
Quite inventive, really.
well, but
Yeah.
actually, I find them interesting because I suspect this sock was actually manufactured by Dean's for this particular purpose of making these, rather than it being an old sock. So it's a slightly weird concept, really, unless they bought themselves a
job lot of socks.
Actually, I'd quite like socks like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice sock.
Nice sock like
Mhm.
those.
Yeah.
So they're the first time I've ever seen those.
I've never seen them.
And there are probably very few of those around like that. So they
Does
interest
that
me.
make them worth something?
Worth some? Yes, I think they are quite valuable. I don't know how much because I've never sold them before, but yes, they're probably quite a valuable pair. I would have thought.
Of socks.
Pair of socks, yes. Very good. So now this is another chap I don't know exactly who he is, but he's by Dean's Rag Book as well. And actually his face is the same face they used for Mr. Punch.
Oh yes,
So they did a
it
Mr.
is.
Punch toy. I don't know if he's
Perhaps he's
label.
perhaps he's the fairground owner.
Well, we don't know, the answer is. So if anyone knows...
Is he smoking a pipe?
Yes, he's got a wooden pipe. So his face is printed, like the printed books that they did. But on his satchel, which is quite unusual, he has got Piccadilly, in inverted commas, the old firm. So that's what I need to find out. And I've Googled and looked up everywhere and can't find anything about that at all. Now, someone suggested he might be a bookmaker.
As in maker of books, rather than
No, as in
betting.
As in betting. And I've got a feeling they do have a satchel, some sort. But yeah, I'm afraid to say he is a mystery. But he's from the 1920s. He's in lovely condition, and he's a great character. But a little bit of a mystery. And now I love a mystery because it's
And I think he's very well made, isn't he? So
yeah, he's
Kind of
lovely
rough.
quality. So he wouldn't have been a cheap toy at the time. But probably made for the adult market rather than
Yes.
the childhood market. Famous characters or certain advertising characters were sort of made for adults rather than the children. Not necessarily a children's toy. So that's him. And then we have these two particularly attractive gentlemen. But these again are quite rare. These are both by Chad Valley, the well-known English company, and they are of. Oh, there we are. There's a label. I don't know if you've got a label on your one. No, you haven't.
No.
But they're both of English.
Yes, I have.
Oh yes, there we are. They're both English politicians. Now this is Stanley Baldwin, who was a Conservative politician. I suspect, hence the blue bow tie, maybe.
Yep. And I've got
Smoking
a red
his
one
pipe. So, and then that's Ramsay McDonald, which I believe was the first Labour Prime Minister. I'm looking at my colleagues
and
for
they've
confirmation.
each got a boxing glove on.
Well, I don't think it's a box.
They've each got a hand.
They've got a modelled
And
hand,
a-
which they're meant to be holding something. Oh,
and-
I think he's meant to be holding something in his.
And a mitten.
Yes,
or-
and the other one. So, I mean, this one literally hasn't got thumb at all.
Oh, right. Oh, he's perhaps missing something.
So, yeah, so, you know, again,
This thumb is integral.
I would suggest that these two were made for adults as well, rather than, you wouldn't give a child.
They're not the prettiest, but they are characters.
They are characters, and, you know, actually really quite rare to find as well, so they're hard ones to find. So,
This one hasn't got ears, whereas yours has.
actually not, yes. This is what I would call brushed cotton almost.
Mm.
And then felt, soft stuffed, aren't they?
Political toys.
Political toys, yes. So, you know, whether they were, you know, in support or in against those political parties, I don't know. But certainly might give you nightmares, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.